So something I've been finding really funny to just sort of how do I need to resize. Oh no, that will work. Let me collapse that in a bit more though. Something that I've been finding really funny to watch from the sidelines. It's one of those battles where no matter who wins, we win. Or no matter who loses, we win because it's the so just to make sure we have this distinction clear again, we had the August 31st Cookers, who were the March for Australia folks. And then leading up to it with all the reporting on the potential and quite realistic, quite evidence founded claims of associations with neo-Nazis and far right, et cetera, white supremacy. Uh, there was a bunch of folks who were the more anti-vax of the cookers. They decided, okay, yeah, yeah, we're pretty racist. Yeah, we're pretty homophobic, transphobic. We want to basically just make life miserable for everyone. But the Nazi thing does feel a bit too much. So they weren't willing to, that was the line they weren't willing to cross, which I guess to give them credit on something. I mean, to be fair, it's like one of the, like the bar is so fucking low these days. The bar is so goddamn low. And anyway, so then the offshoot anti-vaxxers started their own group, um, or more so more event, which was also on September 13th, so Saturday, which just happened to coincide with the First Nations Solidarity March. Thankfully, it seems that there was a lot of chatter beforehand between organizers and whatnot, and there was no crossover. There was no crossover. They went to their thing. There was a few like people on their way to their event who came by, but we didn't like no one kind of acknowledged them. There was one guy who, oh God, it was so funny. Um, Let me even see if I can find it. Uh, Let me even see if I can find it because it was kind of sad, honestly, because he was alone. He was the only guy, and like it kind of made you feel a bit like, oh, buddy. Um, no, that's not where I would find it. Ah, whatever. He basically had one of those signs that says, "Why can't we all just get along?" But he also had a MAGA hat. But make Australia great again. Why can't we all just get along, guys? Come on. So anyway, I give all of this context. I give all this context because you need to know all that for for the payoff to come in. Uh, it turns out both let's just say the Aug 31st and the September 13th people hate each other now. It's basically like the September 13th people go, "You stood with the Nazis, not good, bad," and then the August 31st go, "You're a bunch of pussies," and it's been good. It's been pretty good. You know, they've been really slinging shit at each other. As you can see here today, September 13th of the year of our Lord 2025, the Australian freedom movement died. So this is obviously someone who was on the Aug 31st. I mean, most of what I'm seeing is the Aug 31st people, to be clear. I just think it's so funny. Like here, went to show support for my culture and country at the Australia Unites rally today. Got stabbed in the back by a tricky. Now, but remember, Charlie Chow, he was like the main. He was supposed to be the main guy. Well, he was the top of the list of the Brisbane
At
organizers.
length
Let's
about
bring
my
this up.
involvement with March for Australia.
Hang
Now,
on. Let's.
I went to the Brisbane Unite for Australia rally today, and this is what I saw. I had a 35-minute conversation.
Okay. What was the what was the context of the booing?
with the main organiser of the Brisbane event, Tricky, on Wednesday, the 10th of September. And we spoke for, like I said, over half an hour at length about my involvement with March for Australia and how the NSN weren't running the March for Australia in Queensland and how my
Sorry, I can't get over how much this guy's face. To me, I don't know if anyone else can see this like I can, but he just looks like a little puppy dog. He's just a little sad. Just doesn't understand. I don't know. It's the vibe I'm
how
getting.
my views and the movement's views on mass immigration would have an effect on the Australian economy and what would be the repercussions of shutting the gates. It was a civil discussion. Tricky took on board that I was definitely not a member of the NSN and neither were the other leadership guys in Queensland. And yet, I went to that rally today and the first thing he did in the first 10 minutes was point out to everyone that the Brisbane organisers were NSN. What the fuck? So I go along in good faith, waving my flag, thinking I'm doing the right thing to support, the freedom movement and our rights in Australia, and got a fucking half-hour lecture about how everything about every other culture in Australia is good and better than ours. And then fucking the accusation.
I I mean, I haven't really seen any footage from the freedom movement thing from their one. So I could be wrong. I could like he could be breaking news to me for all I know. He could be right now telling it 100%. It's not even like, being reinterpreted in his whatever's going on in that head. Um I just love being lectured for an hour and a half on how other coaches in Australia are better. Or was it good? Oh, the coaches are good or some shit. Holy smokes, that's hilarious. Any chance you could send me this vid? Um, I can. It's on X, Clawbungus. So I don't know if you. Oh, let me try. Let me try. Just give me one sec. Cause yeah, it's. Hang on one sec. Instagram. Just making sure that I'm doing it on a different uh, window. And then just grab that. Copy. We'll just exit that. There you go. Go wild with it, brother. I'm gonna keep watching it on here though.
That I'm in the NSN. And then so he slowly but surely managed to dismantle the whole fucking audience. There was about 1,000 people there, and I hung around for about an hour, and by then half of them had left. Half of them had left. Like most people were just fucking peeling out, and they were horrified. He wouldn't call out immigration at all. All he would do was keep banging on about how we need more migrants to prop up the fucking economy, and that everything was a psyop. Dude, what the fuck, man? Like, I spoke to you personally. The gatekeepers, and then they pass the tins around and they want everyone to donate cash, and then it was like, buy my merch, for fuck's sake. Anyway, October 19th, we're running the next march.
Yeah. I know. Whatever. I I do think it's oh, what was it I was gonna say? Um, I actually wouldn't be surprised if, like, I don't know, a year, 2 years from now, we look at things in retrospect. We look at what's happening right here in retrospect. I wouldn't be surprised if we do ultimately come, look, these are all grifters. Let's not fucking kid ourselves. None of these people really believe in the bullshit they spew, or if they do believe it, then they're the crazy part. It's the crazies and the grifters. It's the movement. It's how it works. And uh, uh, in a weird way, I actually get an impression from Shallow Chow that he's not like he's a grifter in a certain respect, but I think he's a I think he believes he follows some principles. I think he thinks he's honorable. Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if we do find out that the freedom movement people, at least this tricky guy, whatever, oh, like they're probably very much, you know, full of shit, and they probably vaccinated themselves or whatever, you know, like I I I wouldn't be surprised if, weirdly enough, these are the more if uh, uh the Oz marches are weirdly enough the more like in the right in this sense or whatever. I don't know how to say that. What's this? Oh yeah, this is the fucking yeah. Because obviously there would have been because it's oh good, okay, cool. Because obviously there was the other thing like, and that was all around the country, and their one was all around the country. Like it's going to be a bit different. I'm just trying to go through the timeline thing here. Like we're going to get a bit of both. I'm just going to try and skip through those. Hang on. So let's just read this. Was September 13th a rally against government corruption or another opportunity to shitbag myself and march for Australia? Oh, and to shitbag myself and march for Australia. Winston Smith, I don't know.
Like I said, they're focusing on this one symptom. And I know a shitload of people here today went to those rallies. And that's awesome. But those rallies and that direction is problematic. Why? Only focus on one symptom. What's that symptom, guys? Immigration. That is their only focus.
Oh,
On the
okay.
symptom. Apparently everything else is a distraction. That's their words, not mine. It couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, it's a inversion of reality is what we're looking at here. Once again, it plays right into the PSYOP. I'm going to talk about the PSYOP very soon because it is crucial at the moment that every single Australian understands how it being played by the...
Okay, what? Okay. Yeah, I actually might be somewhat agreeing with Shallow Chow in this moment in a weird way, not on like, you know, what what is a good what is a good belief or value or policy or a good thing's good and bad thing's bad, all that basic shit. But just from that so far, it does. Are these people just like really confused liberals or something? Because yeah, um, even to call the other to call the March for Australia problematic. It's very interesting use of words.
media and other people dropping messages. It's very important that we go through this. If we don't see it,
Oh,
it's
also, it's taking a long time to get through whatever shit he's trying to say here, but trust me, he feels like he's really smart.
game over. The other problem with those events, guys, is that while not all of the city's organisers were racist, white supremacists, or neo-Nazis, the main national organisers and coordinators were in fact. Now that's not my opinion. That is proof. The proof is their own videos, their own audio recordings, their own posts, the comments. Do some research for yourselves, and you uncover. That is.
What? When did we get to the point when the anti-vaxxers are saying, bro, just look at the video, look at the photo. It's so obvious. Oh my god. It's almost like they can exercise some critical thinking on shit.
This is why, brothers and sisters, I chose not to be involved with those marches. I don't need permission to run a rally in Brisbane. When the people come together, we run the rallies. It's because I uncovered what was happening, who was involved, that I pulled the pin and just chose to speak out. And I've temporarily lost 35% of my following. And I knew that was going to happen because it's going to take people some time. People adjust to things at different speeds. Eventually, everybody's going to see it. Guys, the main leaders of this place, they want a white Australia. If anybody here wants a white Australia, this isn't the place for you today, I'll tell you that right now. This place is about coming together, black, white, or everyone in between, all united.
Just hang on, sorry, I've got food. Fuck. It would just be really funny if he says, "We don't want to have any of that white Australia shit here," and you just see all of the people right here in the front just separate like the Red Sea. He's Moses, and the Red Sea just separates. I think it'd be funny.
That's one issue, guys. The biggest issue is the massive psychological operation currently taking place, not just in this country, but around the world. The momentum created for those previous rallies was not organic, it was artificially created. This is the hard truth, guys. Stick with me and listen to the reasoning behind this. And everybody needs to start thinking about this more without having people to explain it. Every time you see something, start thinking about it, because the divide and conquer plan is real. It's not new, it's old, and it's right here, right now, and it's affecting the country. So let's have an important look at the staged events and the organic events that were filmed. Can anybody know what that is, the Ashura Festival? It's that Shiite Muslim festival. For over a decade, they've been having this march, these Muslims. This time the cameras are waiting in front of a church, which they march past every single year for the last 12 years. They framed it badly and used an inflammatory headline, which caused that emotional trigger in people to now get upset. Christians versus Muslims, Muslims versus Christians, debating you. The bishop of the church came out and he said, these Muslims in our community have been walking past this church for over a decade. Every year they call us and they inform us that they're heading past out of respect for us. He said there was no malicious intent towards Christians or
That is insane. These people hate them. The Org 31st people purely hate them just because like these people are willing to call out shit, which is crazy that we have gotten to a point where again the bar is it's well and truly into the basement. Like this guy just doesn't stop lying. He referred to the national organizer, yeah, calling for a white Australia, which apparently there is video footage of me doing. I mean, there was, yeah. This is the same shit that we're used to, like with Trump and whatnot, where they would just keep reiterating that they haven't, even though like it's very clear they have. Who is this tricky fella? Yeah, so
focusing on the
oh, he, I don't know. Like, I know that they now hate him. He used to be someone either on like TikTok or whatever who like was big with the anti-vax and big with all this anti-woke, because ultimately what this has clearly all been is like 2015 happened and we had the Reclaim Australia, but we didn't yet have the anti-woke and the woke um narrative dynamic in Australia yet. That was still a very American thing. I don't even think no one knew of it really. Um, and obviously over this time we now have that, and I feel like that's what this has all been. Like all these people, they've been just, they've been the grifters and the crazy people riding off the wave of all of this anti-woke stuff. They do the Australian version of what they're doing in America and this and that. But it's never really been because Reclaim Australia was a lot of like that's why Thomas Sewell of NSN has connections to people who were very heavily involved in Reclaim Australia. It was a bit more, I guess you would say, like, I don't know, not underground, but like it wasn't this internet shit. It wasn't online stuff. And so now we've got this. And they weren't organized yet. They were organized in America. They've been organized for quite a while in America, as we've seen. But they never really had yet become organized in Australia. It was just like, your kooky fucking neighbors or family members and whatnot. But with this whole thing, they've now got a movement. But as a part of that, sorry, I need to keep trying to find who this tricky guy is. As a part of that, they now have to sort of fall upon some sort of identity to really be able to say who is in and who is out. Now, a lot of easy outs are minorities, migrants. I found Tricky's bio on a website. He's the father of a vaccine-injured child with autism, diabetes, and other autoimmune disorders. Tristan Van Ree is the full name. Ah. I imagine he's the father of a vaccine-injured child with autism. Yeah, yeah. Never mind. I don't even need to ask the question anymore. But yeah, so he was a part of the organizing of the other ones. I mean, as you can probably tell because you've seen his bio now or whatever, unless it's just purely words that you're seeing. He's black. I don't know, like, you know, what he is or whatever. Like, as far as I know, he's Australian, you know, black Australian. But yeah, he was one of the, I remember he was one of the first people out of this lot, the September 13th people to be like, yep, nah, I don't want to be near the Nazis. And this is the thing. This is what I mean by now that they're trying to actually organize or are organizing, they're having to now develop like a bit more of a clearer identity, especially because they have to look at each other, and so it's going to be a bit difficult to pretend to be a white supremacist when you're really just like an Indian typing shit on fucking X. Can someone do a welfare check? Here's his Bender. Can someone do a welfare check on Tricky's ego? I hear it's taken a beating and isn't handling things at all. Well, maybe we should just all come back in 2 weeks. I don't know what he's even referring to. Tricky in the bin. Ooh. I like even even the August 31st people are calling the September 13th cookers, brother. This is one of those things where like, yeah, but the more left you keep going, you're all fucking cookers. Tristan's LinkedIn bio is for the future generations. Can you link that? What does that even mean? Yes, of course, this was Valhalla, but if no one knew this already, there's a huge connection between Nordic esotericism, spirituality and shit, and Nazis. But anyway, I can't be fucked with that. We'll get into the Charlie Kirk shit in a moment. All right. That's fantastic. September 13th, Australia unites its sponsors to help set up and other running. No one is forcing anyone to buy merch or do anything against their free will. Others donate. United we stand, divided we fall. I do love that it's like these guys, the September 13th people. That's the only info on his page other than his name. Oh, okay. Don't worry about it then. Yeah, I think they all kind of do that too. They keep their LinkedIn's pretty limited, which wouldn't you? Did you want his Insta? Yeah, 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 yeah. Do that. That would probably be even better. That's probably more what I want. Um, it seems like, funnily enough, though, that the September cookers, I don't know, they just seem to be like, I wouldn't say that they're definitely not woke, but it's almost like they're trying to incorporate some of the woke language. Maybe they're trying to like claw themselves back in. Um, oh fuck. Yeah, and then we came early. You know what? Let's take a brief breather. In 2021, European Australians became only 57.2% of our population, down from 88.2% in the year 2000, which is 20 years. It's a long time. Now in 2025, we have now become a minority in our own country. My friend, if you're a European Australian, by your definitions, it's not your country. I fucking hate this shit. Our ancestors did not build this nation or die for this nation for it to be handed over to a foreign majority of people that don't share our morals or values. We have been replaced, says the First Nations. says the whitest bitch you know. Oh yeah, you got his Insta. Let me, how do I, no, come on. Can I just, yep, there we go. Let's, oh, easy too, because then we got Insta over here. So I just need search, paste. Tricky Dicky. Really? Where? Nothing comes up. Maybe I just get rid of that. That's weird. Maybe I'll just get rid of the Dicky. Oh, well, this looks like it would be him. Yep, People's Revolution. Yeah. Anyway, right. The right to defend. Do we have like, I don't know, even just an image? Video?
But we also want to dedicate it to the Australian men and women, like the Anzacs, the Vietnam vets, that also died in what they thought were also protecting their home.
Oh, no worries, mate. Glory Pungus, that's all good. This group is, I think, the September 13th people, I think, could possibly bewilder me in ways I didn't think was going to be possible. Because presumably, this is him, Tricky. I mean, he's the guy talking. He's got the same exact logo as his profile picture. It's talking about Anzac, got all that shit. I almost can see more Aboriginal iconography here than I can see of his own thing. I'd recommend checking out his Patreon as well. Okay. Do we have that? Okay. So it's really just he's a COVID-19 guy. Like he's an anti-vax guy.
I got the vaccine.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Even 4.
Really?
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
peer
just-
pressured into the vax?
Yeah, kind
Is
of.
that what you're saying? That's. I don't know.
Went to the doctor and I did my blood work again because I check my blood work all the time, and then I show it to the doctor and we kind of see these particles and I'm like, what is this? And then they all
No
say,
way,
this
dude.
is
Shut the fuck up.
this is from this, and I'm like, oh my god. Reason why people they die, they have these white blood clots, tons of them in the blood everywhere, and so they're like, this is what you maybe have.
Wait, what? For cold. Holy shit! Where's... Let me just drop that down. Yeah, okay, so he's pretty full on. He's pretty... Oh, well, at least you can join for free, I guess. David McBride interview. War, what is it good for? Right to defend. How to beat the digital ID. I don't know what that was about. Drunken chemtrail. I hope that is just a joke. God damn. Okay, I don't want to go into like looking at his kids or whatever. Um, what a fun guy. The about section is where it's at. Oh, shit, I don't actually know why. Why'd I get rid of that? I just sort of did that on impulse. Look, man, I have a bit of a deterrent to these guys. Oh, I see now. I see now. Drunk Chemtrail Pilot is my new band name. Yeah, that's a pretty sick one, actually. That'd be pretty good. At the start of 2020, I founded the People's Revolution. With the help of the people, we have grown the People's Revolution from 1500 from our first rally in King George Square during a period of heavy tyrannical restrictions to over 100,000 in just 18 months. The fastest growth any movement in Australia. Put in the numbers, for example, TPR, right, yeah, connecting like-minded youngsters, business owners, groups, creating. So how have any of that gone? How has that gone at all? Non-violent guerrilla activism, connecting hardcore activists. Over the last 2 years, and it's grown so big. Okay, so bigly. Whilst juggling a full-time job as a single income earner for full-time activism, raising 3 children. Something must give. So, in an attempt to be proactive, I've decided to listen to the advice given to me and started a Patreon for my family to help. So, this is literally just to help him, well, and his family. Oh, my achievements in the movement so far have made me the targets of intimidation harassment campaigns from the Queensland Police Service and the Brisbane City Council. What's the bet when he says harassment campaign? Oh, actually, he might actually be not entirely false on that. I was gonna say, like, what's the bet that it's just like a letter to notify him of a fine or whatever? Oh, well, hang on. Police vehicle sitting outside my house. Officers waiting for me to be at work, then knocking on my. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Personally think all of those have contributed. Yeah, cool. Interesting. Moving it along. Let me make this abundantly clear. Tricky was never involved at any point with March for Australia. He was never asked to be involved. In fact, he wasn't even aware of who was organising. Why? Because he's an A-grade grifter and serial liar. So, October the 19th, we march as one again. We show the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they really don't like the September 13th people. Oh, is this? This is entire show that's been priced out to them. Isn't an aspiration, it's a fantasy. Well, I guess at least they recognize that. Who didn't see this coming? Report starts with the assertion that Muslims reached Australia. Oh my god! Sorry, this is a complete side quest we're doing here. Drew Pavlo, the Islamophobia report starts with the assertion that Muslims reached Australia before white people and that they had deep and respectful relations with the indigenous peoples of Australia. Really love this little reproach against white people filled with racial resentment and hatred for us. Also, I just love the holy sea cucumbers of jihad theory of Islamic first contact in Australia. This is based on the fact that a few Indonesian fishermen traded sea cucumbers with like one or two indigenous tribes in the Northern Territory. There were hundreds of separate indigenous tribal nations with their own languages and cultures, so the overwhelming majority of indigenous Australians had zero contact with Islam prior to the modern day. Did they? I mean, okay. Did they fucking? Here we go. It's Drew Pavlov time. Yeah, my favorite person to ever tell me to kill myself. Yeah, I know. I guess it was a matter of time for. Let me see. Have I put him in the fucking list yet? Yeah, chuck him in the cookers list. You know, it's the only way to be able to keep track on these cunts because they say so much shit so frequently. You know that this guy did a vigil for Charlie Kirk at UQ yesterday, or like attempted to or something. I don't know, but it's fucking Charlie Kirk and Drew Pavlo. I don't pay attention to this. Let me just see. Um, because to be clear, this is something that I read about like 10 years ago. This is a very well-known historical. Oh, fuck, I'm hitting my mic. This is a well-known historical, like, I don't know what you would say, like set of events, series of events, trade relations, like this. It happened. Um, Many Australians remain unaware of the deep and enduring relationship that has existed between Muslim communities and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australians. Historical evidence reveals Muslim Makassar traders from Indonesia journeyed regularly to Arnhem Land from at least the mid 1600s, long before the arrival of Europeans. Hang on. Yeah, I heard about the vigil. Someone tried to organize a thing in the valley on Saturday for everyone to go to one club and do a shot at 10 p.m. for Charlie. Like, shoot themselves. Can I just, okay, because this was gonna be the next thing I was gonna do, but I'm just gonna say, like, I'm so over hearing about Australians giving a fuck about this. Like, I watch American politics a lot, arguably possibly more than Australian politics, which, like, you know, I would agree is probably a bit unbalanced. Like, I probably should do it the other way around. But I I am so, maybe it's just I hate myself. I'm so sick of seeing Australians, especially Australian conservatives, comment on American politics or have train like they don't even give a fuck about us, man. We're literally their little like puppet they can poke around to do whatever they need us to. Anyway, long before the arrival of Europeans, this longer-standing engagement was not one of conflict or threat, but a profound mutual connection and respect. Initially rooted in trade, this relationship blossomed to include intermarriage and the exchange of language and tradition, with words from Muslim prayers woven into, I don't know how to say that, people's spirituality, songs, and rituals. In the late 19th century, Aboriginal Muslim relations grew with the arrival of Cameleers, almost as if we knew about that being a thing already, without the previous bit, who transported goods and opened up transport routes across the center of the country. These relations were built on mutual respect, cultural and religious exchange, and were strengthened by shared values. The enduring and reciprocal yet often overlooked relationship between Muslim and Aboriginal communities deserves recognition. This shared history of material, social, and spiritual exchange. I need water. Uh, Social exchange echoes in the present, creating space for enduring respect, generosity, and openness. In acknowledging this shared history, I wish to pay, and then we got the um, acknowledgement of country. Uh, in fact, if I find it funny because, like with Drew Pavlo, like he's in Brisbane, right? Obviously, so like if he just went to a Palestinian or a indigenous rally, which you know he had two fucking opportunities to do that over the past 2 days, by the way. Oh, phone had an alarm. He had two opportunities to do that, and they weren't at unreasonable times, might I add. And you will notice, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just they have something to relate on. But the indigenous community and the Palestinian community in Brisbane at least is pretty fucking tight. Like I'm not saying like they're literally if you meet a Palestinian they're also an Aboriginal, but like we're talking about two communities that like recognize the shared journeys they've had to go through. Um, and I've met a lot of people who are literally like Palestinian and Aboriginal, like you know their parents would be one and then the other, or like all different kinds of family trees that like you know, even I'll be like, oh my God, that's crazy. I wouldn't have expected something like that. But I never mean it as like, oh, because you know you're this. I just think of it like, holy shit, that place is so far off over there in the planet, you know, whatever. I just love how this is such a simple explanation, and I actually think a really well done like little snippet of the info because I've read all this stuff before in like in museum um, writings and ABC writings and this and that again like 10 years ago and found it fascinating. Uh, I guess Drew Pavlo didn't consider doing a Google search because literally as well. What do I want? Islam first contact in. Come on. Get to see all my poor typing skills. Like when Islam came to Australia in 2014. This was a story 11 years ago. Again, 2014. I can't be bothered reading through it because we read the. Oh. Actually, hang on. This might be a little bit like of a out of like yeah, okay. Yeah. I feel like this one would have been one where they had to kind of hang on. Oh, 2011. I can count this one now. The Indonesian connection. They even mention it explicitly. Oh, Muslim convicts and settlers. It's almost as if them being human beings, you just stroll across fucking places. Uh, might I add that doesn't that search bar thing, whatever, tell you something about people who are concerned about this? Um, that that's brilliant. He really shows how fucking dumb he is. I kind of want to. Can I? Do you think he would even? Do you think he would even reply to me? Really love this. Against white people filled with racial prejudice. Resentment for us. Is Drew Pavlov even white? I thought he was like Asian or something. This is based on the fact that. So I'm gonna respond. So if it's a fact that the Indonesian fishermen traded with even just one uh, indigenous tribe, etc. That's still a that's still, what would you say? Drew is Greek. Oh, fucking course. Of course. That's still Pavlo actually now think about it makes more sense. That's still what was I trying to say? So if it's a fact that the Indonesian fishermen traded with even just one tribe, etc., then Islam was here first before Christianity. No? I'm just thinking to say it. Why so offended? No. Even better. Just why so mad? Why so mad? I don't know. Oh God, Drew Pavlo, eh? What a legend. What 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 a gem. What a gift to, you know, the world.